Hey everybody, it's Brian with Just Got Played. Excuse my surroundings, ended up just moving, but we ended up playing a game called WelterWeights. So stand by for the review of WelterWeights. So WelterWeights is a two-player boxing-themed card game. The mechanisms for it takes about 20 minutes to 30 minutes to play. Um, the mechanisms of the game are a little bit of coding, deck building, and bluffing. Generally, the game takes place over the course of 3 rounds, and there's 5 turns during each one of those rounds where the players are playing simultaneously. Each player has 2 decks of cards. You got a left-hand deck and a right-hand deck, and in those different decks, you have different types of punches, blocks, and dodge cards. Basically, the punch cards. Uh, they have like an initiative on them. So which one is going to resolve first for purposes of the coding? They have a power, or if they end up connecting, how much or how many days cards they're going to add to the other person's deck. And then also they're also designated as whether they go into the left-hand deck or to the right-hand deck. So generally during your turn, you've kind of got your coding phase, which is where you're going to be drawing 4 cards from each the left deck and the right deck, and then you're going to choose 1 to 3 cards from each deck. But in sum, you're going to have 4 different cards between the 2 different decks, and you need at least 1 from each the left-hand deck and the right-hand deck. Then you're going to order those. So when you go to simultaneously resolve them, you're going to then compare the results and check the initiative. Did they dodge a certain direction? Did they jump into the punch that you threw? If they or did they end up blocking the punch, or did you both throw a punch at the same time? So that's all resolved by the initiative speed. And then anytime you actually get hit with a punch, it's going to increase your score. And I think if you hit the 25 mark, you end up knocking out that player first. If the game ends without a player actually being knocked out, whoever has the highest score is going to be the winner. And then also, if you get a technical knockout, if you get knocked down 3 times, you're going to end up losing. And that's kind of whenever you actually get a hit is scored, and that punch actually has a power that is high enough, it adds dazed cards into that opponent's deck, onto either their left deck or their right deck. So when that happens, when they go to draw their cards, and obviously any dazed cards in there are going to act as just crappy cards that it's going to limit their options. But if they ever have all dazed cards on either their left or their right hand, then that's basically a knockdown. And if they end up getting 3 of those, then they're knocked out, and that's game. Additionally, the card that you can choose in the middle, your player has a power which you can use once, which you can use I think once per round as well. So that is basically in a nutshell welterweights. My favorite thing about welterweights, I would say, is the coding aspect of the game. It's always kind of fun coding and bluffing, trying to guess what the other player is going to do, and structuring your cards so that you can try to beat them. So that's just my favorite element of the game. And if I had to pick one thing that I disliked about the game, I would have to say it's actually that player power, because at least in the cards that I've seen, there are the same power, and I would have liked to have seen like variable player powers for different boxers. So maybe that will be available as an expansion soon. Who knows? But again, welterweights is on Kickstarter right now, and there's not a whole lot of time left. So jump over there, check it out, and back welterweights. Thank you for watching Just Got Played.